Hey everybody, this is Nicki Lis, licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist. So, as I announced a couple of days ago, some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. Either way, it's okay. I am going to talk to you today about 10 signs that you are in a relationship with a narcissist. Two things I'm going to start out with. What am I talking about when I say relationship? And what am I talking about when I refer to a narcissist? Well, a relationship, I am referring to romantic relationships when you're getting started dating somebody, when you have been dating someone for a long time, maybe you're married to somebody, or you may be married to this person. Maybe this is someone that you were in a marriage with and you're co-parenting with, and you've always known that just something's not right, but maybe you're interested to find out if this person could be a narcissist. I'm also talking about any kind of relationship with a parent, with a sibling, with a coworker, with a friend. Any of these relationships are what I'm referring to. Now, yes, they all play out a little bit differently, sometimes a lot differently, and I will break that down in further videos, but today is just sort of a general 10 signs to look for when you're in any kind of relationship with a narcissist, because there are signs that are the same that they will put out no matter what kind of relationship you're in with them, especially if you're very close to this person. Now, what am I talking about when I say a narcissist? Well, when we think of a narcissist, we think of somebody who is full of themselves, right? Arrogant, thinks they know it all. And that is a narcissist. But I'm taking it a step further. I'm talking about a pathological narcissist. I'm talking about somebody who has a personality disorder, maybe narcissistic personality disorder, or borderline personality disorder, or histrionic or antisocial personality disorders. Although these are all different disorders, the common thread between them is narcissism. Anybody who has one of these personality disorders is a narcissist. And somebody may not even fit the criteria exactly for one of these personality disorders and still be considered a narcissist, still be pathological in that way. So that's what I'm referring to. So let's get started. What is the first sign? The number one sign that someone is a narcissist, just like I said earlier, is being self-centered. These people are extremely self-centered. All they really think about is themselves. They have a very difficult time looking at the perspective of another person. Now, this can look differently depending on the person, because all narcissists aren't the same. They're all different people, just as someone with diabetes looks different compared to between one person and the next. Somebody with a narcissist might be somebody who's outgoing and charming and friendly, or a narcissist might be somebody who's shy and withdrawn and maybe not friendly. They could have a wide variety of personality traits in that respect, but yet there is this common thread. So what am I talking about when I say self-centered? Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes we all know somebody who's pretty self-centered. You talk to them and all they want to do is talk about themselves, and they talk about how great they are and things like that. We all know somebody like that. This is a step further. This may be somebody who is outwardly expressive in that way. This may be somebody who you don't see as self-centered. They seem to be just pretty normal, I guess you could say. But when it really comes down to it, they don't consider other people's feelings. They may be quiet. They may appear to listen to you when you're talking, but this is somebody who really is not listening to you when you're talking. I can promise you that. Especially if you're in a close relationship with them. You know who I'm talking about, especially if you're thinking of this person, right? Whenever they have a problem, you are there for them. You're a good friend, you're a good spouse, you're a good child, whatever the case may be. You listen to them, you care for them, you meet their needs, right? But when it really comes down to it and you need something from them, they don't deliver. They can't deliver. It's impossible for them. They may give you a little, like, sorry to hear that, and then they're off. They're either talking more about themselves, or they're maybe you're on the phone with them and suddenly they have to hang up because they just spent 30 minutes talking about themselves, but then they couldn't spend 10 seconds listening to you talk about something that you have an issue with. This is what I'm talking about. This person, how else do they show that they're self-centered? If they go to the grocery store, it wouldn't even cross their mind to ask you what you might like at the grocery store. That wouldn't even cross their mind. They're at the grocery store and they know what they like to eat, so they get what they like to eat. That's it. If you order a pizza, they're always going to somehow get what they want on that pizza. They just cannot bring themselves to take turns. They don't like to take turns. So what are some other examples? They're going to take the last cookie. I know it sounds so silly, but they will. If there's one cookie left, they will take it. They're not going to ask if you want it. They might ask, but the reality is they really don't want you to take it. They want it for themselves. And they'll probably wait till you're not looking, then they'll take it real quick. These are the kinds of ways it shows. The reality is that their needs are always met before yours. Always. In every situation. And they will do whatever it takes to get their needs met, no matter what. They'll hurt you in order to get their needs met. And we're going to talk about that more. Because getting their needs met, it's that important to them. Number two, they are attention seeking. Oh my goodness, they do lots of things for attention. Now again, this may be someone that's really overt about it, and they walk into a room and they sort of capture an audience, and they may be the life of the party. This may also be someone who's not that way, but they look for attention in other ways. So what does the person that's the life of the party look like? This person, they're at a party, they have lots of friends, everybody kind of is drawn to them, they're funny, they're engaging, they appear engaging anyway. But when you get home, and it really comes down to it, and it's one-on-one, there isn't much depth there. There isn't much to it. They're not the life of the party. They're not the life of it when they come home. When they come home, they're just kind of self-centered, don't think about your needs. Why do they thrive in a party situation like that? Because they're getting fed. They're being fed by all the attention and people laughing at their stories, and they love that. They feed off of that attention. Now somebody that's more quiet, a quiet narcissist, might get attention in other ways. They might go to that same party and sit in a corner and wait for someone to approach them, or maybe they'll quietly approach you. But when you're talking to them, you notice they use big words when it's really not necessary, or they brag about themselves. But they might do it in a subtle way. Like, let's say you are talking about how you go to the gym. Then they start talking about, oh yeah, I go to the gym too. But they just gotta stick in there that they ran a marathon last fall. Oh, and you know what? They'll tell you all about how they know so much more than you do about this topic, no matter what the topic is. They'll lie about things. They'll say they're a nurse when they're really an assistant to the nurse. And is there anything wrong with being an assistant to a nurse? No, but they have to embellish. It's part of they have this inferiority about them. So they must embellish to impress you. They're looking for attention. They're looking for you to say, oh, you're a nurse? That is so amazing. I just love nurses. And they're like, yeah, I know, I'm one. When they're really not. They may give you expensive gifts. And the reality is they're not giving you expensive gifts because they want to be generous. It may come across that way. You may be fooled into thinking that that's what it is in the beginning of a relationship. But after a while, you start realizing they're not giving you expensive gifts to be generous. They're giving you expensive gifts so you gush over them. Because that's really the goal in really anything they do. And they'll play up whatever they do, no matter what it is. So let's say you ask them what they do for a living and they are a restaurant manager. They're not going to say, I'm a restaurant manager. They're going to say, oh, I'm in charge of 50 plus people at a local establishment. They'll say it they'll always do something to embellish and make themselves sound better, smarter, more wonderful than you and everybody else. If you're sick, they're sicker. If you have a problem, they have a bigger problem. They always need that attention no matter what, which is one of the reasons why they can't be there for you, like we talked about in the last one. And you're going to find as we're talking about these 10 signs, they all do tend to overlap. And you'll see that as I'm talking. So number 3, the third sign is that these people, narcissists, they're very controlling. They have to have things the way they want, and they will control you and the way you do things. And let's say this is someone you meet in the beginning of a relationship, you may not even realize it, but I can guarantee you there are signs even in the very beginning of a relationship with a narcissist. Now, if this is a relationship you've been in for a while, or it's a family member or something, there is no honeymoon period. You've known this person. You know how they are. They're very controlling. So how does someone in the very beginning of a relationship do subtle things to control you? Well, they might say, I like your hair like that, but it would look so much better if you grew it longer. And then, of course, you're going to think, well, okay, I'll grow it longer because I want to make this person happy. And then they'll do these subtle little things. They'll kind of pick at you, one thing at a time, until next thing you know, they're controlling everything you do. They're controlling when you eat, when you go out, who you go out with, who you spend your time with, when you talk on the phone, when you're allowed to go to the refrigerator for a snack. I mean, it sounds absurd to the average person, but if you are in a relationship with someone like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They do not cooperate. They do not share. They are not flexible. When they want something, they get it. And as the relationship progresses, if you don't do things their way, they're going to become angry. They may call you selfish. So that's something that happens a lot. Let's say you're starting to date someone who's a narcissist, and you've been spending lots of time with them, and there's a Saturday night that you want to go out with your best friend. This is somebody you've been friends with for 20 years, maybe since you were in elementary school or something. And you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go out with my friend on Saturday night. Sorry, we can't hang out this weekend. And the narcissist is going to say, you're going to hang out with her? I don't even like her. I mean, she's not even really a good friend to you. And you're probably going to defend your friend and say, well, I mean, she's my friend, so I really want to hang out with her. And they're going to say, I can't believe that you would spend time with your friend over me when I'm there for you. I'm the one that's there for you all the time. But then you're just going to leave me hanging high and dry on a Saturday night, and you're going to go out with her? She's not there for you. Who was there for you last week when you were sick? Was it her? No, it was me. Well, naturally it was him, because he's the one you're dating. He's the one that's there all the time. That's natural. That's normal. But it's going to get you thinking. And you might think, gosh, I think my friend's a good person, but okay, well, if it means that much to you, I'll stay home. And that's how they start controlling you. And then it gets to a point where you realize it's never good enough, and they're always controlling the way you do things. And you start putting your foot down. You say, you know what? No, I'm going out with my friend this Saturday night. You're not going to tell me what to do. You don't control me. And what do they do next? They flip out. They lose it. They will create such a scene that you don't even know what's up or what's down anymore. And this is how they control you. It gets worse and worse. So if you don't do what they want, they will punish you. They will yell at you. They'll take away affection. They will give you the silent treatment. They'll badmouth you, talk down to you, make you feel guilty. All of these things are ways of controlling you. The silent treatment, actually, I should talk about that. The silent treatment is a form of control. If somebody is angry with you and giving you the silent treatment, that's a way of controlling you. Now, I'm not talking about if you get in a fight with somebody and they're just quiet for a while and they say, you know, I need my space right now. I'm really angry with you. That's okay. We all need to do that sometimes. If we're angry with somebody, you might need your space. I'm talking about when they don't get their way, they remove all contact from you. They don't talk to you. They won't interact with you. If you try to ask them a question, they may give you one-word answers. It's a form of punishment, and it can be a living hell for some people. They'll do this at a party even. Let's say you're on the way to a party with this person, and suddenly something comes up, and maybe you're not wearing the thing that they want you to wear. They told you, I hate that blouse. I can't believe you're wearing that blouse. You're so disrespectful towards me. And because you're wearing that blouse, you get to the party and they decide to ignore you. But they're nice to everybody else. They're giving hugs, they're talking to their friends, and they're ignoring you. But does anybody else see it? No, because it's silent. It's passive. Nobody else can see it. But the whole time you're at that party, they're controlling you. They're making you feel small. And that is a form of control. So, number four. Number four is they take no responsibility for their own behavior. None. Anytime they do something wrong, they will deny it. I didn't do something wrong. They can only see things from their point of view. Let's say you have an argument with a narcissist. You know, a lot of times when we end up in an argument with somebody, we all have some blame in the matter, right? Someone raised their voice first, or someone said something that wasn't nice first. Like, obviously we're disagreeing on something, but it becomes inflamed because somebody starts it, right? And so we both have a little bit of a blame. But with a narcissist, they're never to blame. You're always to blame, even if they created the problem. So going back to the silent treatment example, if they're giving you the silent treatment at that party, and then you come home, and on your way home you're in the car with them, and you're probably feeling terrible because you couldn't enjoy the party at all. They were treating you terribly, and no one else could see it, and you were forced to fake smiles all night. You get in the party, or in the car, and next thing you know, you might say, I can't believe you were ignoring me all night. And they'll say, I can't believe you wore that blouse. If you didn't wear that blouse, I wouldn't have had to ignore you all night. And it becomes your fault again. Everything is your fault. Nothing is their fault. They don't apologize, ever. They have different standards that they hold themselves to than everyone else. They can be very judgmental, very critical of other people. I can't believe the way she looks. I can't believe that she said that to so-and-so. But they're perfect, and they will make you know that they are perfect. If they get a bad grade, it's the teacher's fault. If they miss a shot in basketball, it's their teammate's fault. The teammate got in the way. If they lose their job, it might be your fault. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they called in sick 10 times for this job, but there was that one day that you weren't feeling well and they stayed home to take care of you. It was your fault that they lost the job, and they'll stick to it. They're not kidding. They believe it. It was your fault. If they arrive late to pick you up from an important event, they gave you bad directions. So you don't even have a right to be mad. Let's say that happens. Let's say you're waiting on them and you are going to a speaking engagement, let's say. You're going to a speaking engagement that you are the speaker at, okay? Very important. Everybody would agree that's important. And you're relying on them for a ride. They come and they pick you up 20 minutes late, and you're, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late for this. Rightfully so, you're angry. I can't believe you didn't call. I could have gotten a ride from someone else. I'm going to be late to this very important event. And they're not going to say, I'm so sorry, you're right, I'm late, I'm terribly sorry, we'll get there as fast as we can. They're going to say, well, if you wouldn't have given me such bad directions, we wouldn't be late. And next thing you know, you're in an argument all the way there, and it's making no sense to you because you know you didn't do anything wrong. But they cannot take responsibility for their mistakes, ever. And their reasons often don't make sense. Like, you really can't make sense of this stuff. You can't. This is all part of the narcissism. And sometimes, you know what, sometimes they will apologize. But if they do, it's all part of the manipulation. I can promise you that. They may create a whole big scene, a whole big argument, and they may say to you, all right, I am sorry that I called you that name. I really shouldn't have called you that name. It's like a little tiny apology amongst a whole series of things that they should have apologized for. They'll give you a little. And then when you say, okay, that's great, thanks for that apology, but you didn't apologize for being late to my speaking event, oh, they're gonna get angry. What? Are you serious? You can't even accept my apology? What kind of person are you? I mean, this is how they handle things. So that brings us to our next one. Number 5. Number 5 is they have no empathy. They really do not have empathy for you, especially if you're their target. They have no empathy. They might have some empathy about some things, like, let's say a borderline can have empathy. If they see a little kid trip and fall, it's gonna hurt them. Like, oh, I wish that little kid didn't trip and fall. So they do have some empathy in that way. But when it comes to meeting their own needs and their needs versus your needs, no empathy. There is none. Their empathy is only for themselves. They don't care about your needs. They care about their needs, not yours, theirs. Their happiness will always come before yours. So if you are going to a movie with this person and they know that you hate sitting in the front, but they really love sitting in the front of the movie theater, you'll sit there every time because they'll pitch a fit until you sit there. And they don't care if it hurts your eyes. They don't care if it hurts your neck. They don't care if it's uncomfortable for you. They will insist that you sit there, and they will give you a hard time for not being kind enough or supportive enough to sit where they want. Okay? This is the kind of thing that happens. They may take care of you when you're sick. They may go above and beyond even, but it's not because they have empathy, unfortunately. It's because they're trying to show what a good boyfriend they are, what a good mother they are, what a good friend they are. It's all about going back to that attention seeking. Look at me, I'm taking care of you. It's not about really being a good, caring partner. It's not about that. And once you allow, going back to the control thing, once you allow a narcissist, or you stop allowing them to control you, you will see their lack of empathy like you have never seen it before. I can promise you that. And if you've experienced this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It can be a very painful experience. And I'm telling you, the average person, the average healthy person does not do this. The average healthy person can talk things out, has empathy, might get inflamed in an argument and say things they shouldn't, but can go back and say, I really shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry I hurt you. A narcissist can't, and they won't. If they do, there may be times when they can apologize, but it's all part of the manipulation. It's all part of getting their needs met for the next time. Number six is guilt trips. They love to use guilt trips as a weapon. This is part of the control. They will control you with guilt trips. Narcissistic parents are great at this. They use this as a means of controlling their children. And children are so very powerless that this works great on children, unfortunately, because you think about a child, they don't even know who they are. They're waiting they're relying on their parent to help shape them and to teach them right and wrong. And it's very confusing for a child when their narcissistic parent guilts the child just to get their own needs met. And it creates a child who doesn't know how to get their own needs met. It creates a child who thinks about other people and not themselves, and that becomes a problem later in life. And if you are a child of a narcissist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's much easier to use guilt as a weapon on a child than it is on an adult. However, if you are with a narcissist, if you're married to one, or you have someone in your life who is very close to you, who's a narcissist, and maybe you met them later in life even, they probably started using guilt as a weapon in the very beginning, in little subtle ways, like, oh, come on, I know you like me. If you liked me, if you really liked me, you'd sit in the front of the movie with me. Come on, in the front of the movie theater with me. And then it builds, and it gets worse and worse to the point where if they're not getting their way, they will guilt you into doing whatever it is they want. They will coerce you into doing something you don't want to do or feel uncomfortable doing, just like I said. So let's say let's say it's a work night and you and the narcissist are hanging out and you're watching some TV or something, and you have to get up really early the next day, and they keep saying, oh, come on, stay up later. And that's something that husbands and wives do, okay? But I'm talking about, it goes above and beyond. Like, okay, you'll stay up till 10. Okay, then they get you to stay up till 11. And then, it's really pushing it. You're exhausted, and they say, you're so selfish. I can't believe you. All I'm asking for is a little bit of your time, and all you're going to do is go to bed. I mean, you know what? You don't even love me. I knew you didn't really love me. This is the way they will guilt you. And so it kind of tugs on your heartstrings, and you think, but I do love you. I mean, I stayed up 4 extra hours for you. No, they're not going to accept it. They're not going to see that 4 extra hours, because that has nothing to do with getting their needs met now. Yeah, sure, you gave them 4 extra hours. Maybe you stayed up till 1 a.m. You got to get up at 5, but they don't care because they want to stay up till 2 a.m. And that's the way it goes. They will expect you to cancel plans with a friend because they want to clean the house. They want you to sit with them while they clean the house or something. And it's this absurd. But this is the kind of thing they'll do. They want you with them, and they don't want you to go out with your friend. So they'll say things like, if you really loved me, you know what, you're so selfish. I just can't believe how selfish you are. All you really care about is yourself, when really they're the selfish ones. And you know that, but it tugs at your heartstrings, and you think, well, am I being selfish? I don't think I'm being selfish, but maybe I am being selfish. And it will get out of hand. They may start saying things to you like, no one else would put up with you. You're lucky you have me in your life because no one else would deal with you. You're so selfish. Or if they insult you and you react by crying or shouting back, they'd say, you are too sensitive. You know what? You're just so sensitive. It's a way of guilting you, of tugging at your heartstrings. Don't you love me? Don't you care about me? If you cared about me, you'd do what I want. This is all part of the control, and eventually you learn to stop saying no. And if you get so exhausted and so worn down and you realize that you do need to start saying no to them and you're in deep, once you start saying no, like I said, you're going to see that lack of empathy like you've never seen it before. They will throw the biggest fit you've ever seen. Their fits can be scary, they can be loud, they can be physical, but really it's just like a big giant grown-up toddler temper tantrum. They're not getting their way, so they throw a fit. That's really what that is. Number seven is they have no ability to take criticism. And I mean none, like no ability. They can't laugh at themselves at all. They have no sense of humor when it comes to themselves. They might laugh at you. Let's say they say, I can't believe you're wearing your hair like that today. It looks so super curly. Oh my gosh, it looks hilarious. It's so big. And then you say, oh yeah, well, I don't like your haircut either. I mean, your haircut's kind of looks dorky, or I don't know. I'm just totally making up stuff as I go along. But they're going to be like, wait, what? What are you saying about my hair? Are you saying that you don't like my hair? I thought you liked my hair. I mean, like, there's no concept of the fact that they just laughed at you at your expense. They cannot laugh at themselves. Absolutely not. And like I said before, they can't take blame. They can't take criticism either. They will twist things to make you think that you were the one that was really at fault if you get into an argument or a disagreement, because they cannot take responsibility. They cannot take criticism. Number 8. Number 8 is gaslighting. Gaslighting is a video all in of itself, which I will be doing in the future. But gaslighting is basically, it's manipulation. It is a very abusive tactic that narcissists and any kind of emotional abuser will use. They twist it. Gaslighting is when they twist a situation into making you doubt yourself. They make you doubt your memory, your own reality, and even your sanity. It could be little things like, you turned the light off upstairs, but now it's on. And you say, did you turn the light back on? And they say, no. And you say, but I know we just turned it off. And they say, I don't know what you're talking about. Even though they really know that they turned it off or on, whichever one, you know what I'm talking about. They will start with little things like that. And then it'll get worse. So let's take a big example. Let's say you know that your narcissistic partner is cheating on you. Let's say you caught them. Let's say they admitted it to you. And because you found out that they were cheating, you reacted naturally, like any person would. Now you're on high alert, right? You're afraid they're going to cheat again. So maybe you're looking at their phone and you're asking them a million questions when they go out, and you're just super on high alert about it. And it makes sense. They're going to say to you, you know what? This is why I cheated on you, because you can never just let me be, right? You can just never let me be. Or they might go to their friends and say, oh my gosh, I can't, she's constantly checking my phone, asking me where I'm going, and there's no reason for it at all. So they twist these stories and make other people believe that you are crazy. They try to make you believe that you are crazy. Let's say they call you a terrible name and you react to it. That's when they'll say something like, you're so sensitive. Or in the future, when you refer back to something that they did to you, they'll say, I never said that. And you're like, no, you did. You said that. Don't you remember? You even admitted before. No, I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. I did not say. I would never say that. I don't even know where you're getting this stuff from. They will say things like this. This is gaslighting. They'll call you crazy. When you know you're not, they'll call you crazy. But they'll call you crazy enough times that you start wondering if you are the one that's confused, if maybe some of this didn't happen. They might call you a liar. They will lie and then call you a liar. They'll ask you, how do you come up with this stuff? I don't even know where you get this stuff from. Anytime you call them on any of their bad behavior, this is gaslighting. And the goal of gaslighting is to wear you down. So you doubt yourself, you doubt the things that you know to be true, and over a very long period of time, this can be extremely taxing, extremely taxing. Passive-aggressive behavior is gaslighting. So, for example, they might intentionally push your buttons, and then you get all angry and defensive and you start yelling, and they say, I don't know why you're yelling right now. I'm talking very calmly. I mean, they might be talking very calmly, calling you stupid, a stupid, ignorant fool. Then you react, I can't believe you're calling me a stupid, ignorant fool. And they say, I don't know why you're reacting that way. I'm talking very calmly to you. So I don't know what your problem is. And that's gaslighting. It's very damaging. It's very confusing. And you can't fight it. I mean, because there's just no sense to it. It doesn't make sense. It's irrational. It's all part of the manipulation. So, number 9. Number 9 is playing the victim. These people, narcissists, they love to play the victim. They will create all kinds of drama all around them, and then they'll just sit back and they'll watch. They'll do what they can to make the whole world think that they are the victim. So let's say the whole world, let's say friends of yours or other family members, see the two of you arguing a lot. Then behind closed doors, they may say to the others, to their friends or family or whoever it is, they may say, gosh, I can't stop. I can't get him to stop arguing with me. I mean, he's arguing with me all the time, and he just will not let up. When the reality is they're the ones starting it. They're the ones creating the argument, but they'll make everybody else think that it was you, and it makes them look like the victim. And it works. It works because people do buy into this. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, we pretty much take things at face value when people are talking to us. If you react to their behavior, like I said earlier, if they call you a name, a stupid, ugly fool, and you react like by screaming and yelling, I can't believe you're saying this to me, they'll sit back and say, see, this is the way you treat me. I'm tired of this. I can't believe this. This is the way you treat me. And they just twist it around. They suddenly become the victim. Or let's say they're giving you the silent treatment, like I said before. They're giving you the silent treatment, and you're at that party, like I gave that example before. They might lean over to somebody and say, my partner's not talking to me today. I don't know why. She's not talking to me. I tried everything and she won't respond to me, so I don't know what's up her butt today or whatever. And the reality is they're the one giving you the silent treatment, but it makes you look like the bad guy, and it confuses people, and people believe what they want at face value until they're really in the situation. This playing the victim thing, it's very damaging. These narcissists, they will drive you to react in ways that you never thought possible, because it is so manipulative, it's so taxing, it's so confusing that anger will come out of you that you never thought was even there. You will think you will doubt who you are as a person. This will happen if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist for long enough. They may berate you, they may confuse you with gaslighting, scream and yell at you, and then when you react with rage, because you like seriously can't take it anymore, you can't take the abuse anymore, they're just going to sit back, they're going to watch. They're going to watch you rage. And they're going to tell everybody who will listen that when she's at home with me, you don't know what she's like. It's very damaging. And they might look at you and say, look at you, look at the way you're reacting. You say I'm crazy? I mean, hello, look who does it look like is the crazy one? And they'll tell others all about your rage and paint an innocent picture of themselves. That's what they do. That's what they do. So, number 10. Number 10 is this. Number 10 is trust your gut. okay? If you're in a relationship with somebody and you just know something is not right, and this could be someone you've been in a relationship for a very long time, maybe since birth, maybe this is your mother or your father that we're talking about. You've always known maybe that something's just not quite right, but you can't really put your finger on it. There's something up there, okay? Trusting your gut is very important. If you're dating someone and they seem to be charming and wonderful and amazing, and suddenly things start going south and you just know that something's not right, this person seems to be two-faced, they say one thing but then they say another, and I never really know what to believe. Like, there's these little things, something doesn't feel quite right, you really need to listen to that instinct. I think a lot of times we don't listen to our instincts enough, and it's just very, very important to trust your gut. If you're listening to me tell these 10 signs, and maybe you're listening to these and you're saying, oh, that's my narcissist, that's that person in my life, I know it, this is confirmation. Or maybe you're saying, this kind of sounds like that person, but it's really hard for me to believe that person, like, they love me, they have to have empathy for me, right? I mean, we have kids together. It could be that they're not a narcissist, but it could be that they are. So you really need to trust that gut. Be on the lookout for these things. And if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, I would encourage you to get some therapy for yourself. It can be very, very empowering to go to a therapist and learn how to start getting your power back and learning to reestablish who you are when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. I hope all of that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always message me, and I will try to do another video in the future. Maybe if I get enough questions, I can do a question answer video, and I will do my best on that. So have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.